Yeah, this took me about 10 minutes to write this. I'm him pretty much. Let's yeah. Yeah. Look. Uh, Giannis in the room is whole league feel. Tense Greek freak pressure every step. Make dance from the mud to the league that I said. Makes sense how they talk picks like they work. That presence 50 in the finals. Still etched in stone. Close it out solo made history known. Can't trade hot, can't clone that tone. You don't ship culture that's homegrown. Bones front office talk, but the work's still loud. Freak in the gym while they tweet for cloud. Every fake take get drowned out now. MVP wait when he walk through crowds. Yeah, freak still run the game, trade talk hot, but it don't hold weight. Big man moves with a skill insane, holy chef when he changes lane. Freak legacy strong, rumors fade when the tape turn on. Giannis name still ring that gong. Euro step crack like tectonic plates. 7 foot glide, but he accelerate. Every front office calculate fate. Trying to price a king, that's a capital mistake. Miami, cold, New York, Pete, West Coast, while the Bucks can't sleep. But loyalty heavy, roots run deep. You don't chase noise, let success speak. From no shoot nights to finals acts, fearless, drive, never duck, no fight. If he stay, brings back insight. If he leave, instant title fight. Blogs loud, but the grind low key. Same free now as he was OT. If he move home map, redraw, one man pressure break every goddamn law. Can't trade aura, can't trade fear, can't trade presence when he near. Can't trade legacy mid-career, that price too high, I'll make it clear. If he stay, dynasty reload. If he go, instant beast mode. Either way, the steed's still gold. Can't trade freaks, that code too old. From Athens streets to the global stage, same hunger now, different page. Before you tweet, before you rage, remember, legends don't move the same. They shift the age. What you want? Giannis Antetokounmpo, everybody. He's him. We here. What's good? Welcome to the video. It's day 10 of 12 days of StepBack with Zak. Let's freaking go, man. Sheesh! We up. We here. Let's go now. Welcome. Welcome to the video. Welcome to the channel if you're new. We're here to get them. We're here to do it. Yeah. But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, man. Trying to hit 75 before the end of the year. So a subscription would be greatly appreciated. It is what it is. We do what we do here. Thanks. Oh, that's so fun. So, if you completely live under a rock, it has been known news for probably a month now that Giannis Antetokounmpo is very clearly unhappy in Milwaukee. As we've seen, he has deleted several images or content or whatever from his social media pages that involve the Bucks in one way or another, except their NBA Cup championship and their actual championship. And as we know, Giannis has in the past requested or been involved in trade talks and trade rumors, but this time, it certainly does feel more legit. So in today's video, I want to take a look at some more realistic landing spots for Giannis Antetokounmpo and some that I just think could be fun. But keep in mind that no matter what happens with this trade, if Giannis goes anywhere, the team that trades for Giannis will be gutting their roster and giving away some of their future. So a couple things as well to keep in mind on top of that is that Giannis is a top 4 player in the NBA. And along with that, he is signed to an ascending contract where this year he's making $52 million, next year he's making around $54.5, and then the year after, so the 27-28 season, he does have a $63.4 million player option, which he can choose to opt into if he wishes. So I have 5 teams that I have got here that I think are the most realistic and likely scenario for a Giannis trade, and then like I said just before, I have some other teams that I think could trade for him, but I don't really see them doing it. But again, they could, and I think that maybe it'll be a little bit of fun. So the very first team that I have that could potentially trade for Giannis is the Atlanta Hawks. Keep in mind, this is not in any particular order. This is not, I don't know, the Hawks being the team that I want to see him on the most. This is, yeah, just no particular order. So the Atlanta Hawks could send Trae Young, Zachary Rieseshay, Asa Newell, that Pelicans 2026 pick, and a couple of other picks to the Milwaukee Bucks for Giannis Antetokounmpo and Gary Harris or Taurean Prince or just some other minimum player. Now, the reason for this is that Trae Young just isn't really playing this year, and they've still looked pretty damn good without him. Giannis is clearly unhappy, and Giannis has said something along the lines of that he wants to compete for a championship, be somewhere with Sun, and something else that I don't remember right now, but Atlanta apparently is all the things that meet his criteria. So, if the Atlanta Hawks can make this deal, their starting five would consist of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels, Jalen Johnson will move to the 3, Giannis Antetokounmpo at the 4, and Onyeka Okongwu at the 5. Holy crap. That team sounds insane. The defense is incredible on that team. It is true that you don't have a traditional point guard, but in today's NBA, a traditional point guard is probably at its lowest value ever. We see teams like the Houston Rockets running Amen Thompson at point guard. We see the Mavericks who were doing it earlier in the year, although it didn't really work for them. And we've seen the Hawks do it pretty much all year because Trae Young has been injured. I do really like this landing spot for Giannis because with Giannis, I think this team instantly becomes a top 2 contender out there in the Eastern Conference. And like I said, the pieces that the Hawks will be giving up, Trae Young hasn't really been there and he's been rumored in trade options for a while. Zachary Rizichet has been very disappointing this year. Again, he was a number 1 pick last year, but that draft class sucked ass anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Jalen Johnson has taken a huge leap this year and is looking like the team's main playmaker. And personally, this is my favorite spot for him. And the Bucks would look like Trae Young, Ryan Rollins, Zachary Rizichet, Kyle Kuzma, Miles Turner, and then having Asa Newell off the bench, as well as that Pelicans pick, which is looking to be probably a top 3 pick, and multiple first-round picks attached to that as well, meaning that this team would be set up very nicely for the future, but for right now, they would suck. And getting Trae Young on this team, who's still fairly young, he's like 26, 27, the Bucks need a point guard, and Trae Young is a point guard. Crazily enough. But yes, I really like this spot for Trae Young. But yes, I really like this spot for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Next up, we have the Miami Heat. And the only reason that I've included the Miami Heat here is because realistically, they seem to always be involved in every goddamn trade ever. Miami is such a popular free agency destination. I've never been to Miami. I don't know what it's like. I don't live in America, but I know that Miami is just like one of those cities. Now, when it comes to the Miami Heat, the salaries are kind of hard to match, but I did try my absolute best to make them work. This would be easier for them if they can trade the Terry Rozier contract, as again, we still don't know what's happening with that. Some of the trades that I came up with for the Miami Heat would be sending Bam Adebayo and Andrew Wiggins, as well as some first-round picks, obviously, maybe like 1 or 2, to the Milwaukee Bucks for Giannis, and again, that minimal player, or that minimum player. Or if the Bucks want some more young pieces, you could go Bam, Simone Fontecchio, Nikola Jovic, or maybe instead of those 2, you just add Kalal Ware with some unprotected picks, or if you don't want to trade Bam, you just swap him with Tyler Hero for either one of those trades. Now, Davion Mitchell could be included in the trade as he makes a little over $11 million per year. However, he cannot be traded until January 15th. So let's say that the Miami Heat make the Bam trade. Their team would look like Davion Mitchell, Tyler Hero, Norman Powell, Giannis, and Kalal Ware maybe. Or if they trade away Tyler Hero, they go Davion Mitchell, Pele Larson, or Norman Powell, and then put Jaime Jaquez at the 3, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Bam at the 5. I think either way though, the Bucks would want Kalal Ware in this trade. So that could be a little bit detrimental as he is really the only true center on this team. But like I said, this is hard because the salaries on the Miami Heat are kind of all over the place. Andrew Wiggins would most likely be involved in this trade, and I feel like you absolutely would have to give up either Tyler Hero or Bam Adebayo. But if the Miami Heat make this trade, they will be gutting an absolute big part of their roster, so I don't really like this landing spot so much for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like I said, I'm just doing this trade because the Miami Heat always seem to be in goddamn trade rumors. It's kind of crazy. Next up, we have a lot of people's favorite landing spots for Giannis, but personally, I don't want him here, and it is the San Antonio Spurs. The idea on paper of pairing Giannis and Wemby together is crazy. It is fun to think about. The defense, no one would score in the paint. Nobody. But I'll give you a few reasons as to why I don't want Giannis there after we talk about the trade packages. So, there is a multitude of players and picks that the Spurs can use to make a trade for Giannis. You could trade a Devin Vassell, a Keldon Johnson, one of the 2 young guards, and Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper. You could trade Harrison Barnes, you could trade Jeremy Sohan, put him in there, along with a couple picks for, again, Giannis. And then again, another minimum contract like a Taurean Prince, Gary Harris, or Kevin Porter Jr. So let's say that the Spurs trade away Stephon Castle and keep Dylan Harper, and then get rid of Keldon Johnson, Harrison Barnes, Jeremy Sohan, and a couple of those picks. The Spurs would look like De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper or Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Victor Wembanyama. So again, this starting five looks crazy, but in doing so, yes, you've still got Luke Cornett off the bench, but you lose Keldon Johnson, you lose Harrison Barnes, you lose Sohan. So this bench would be cut completely down to the bone. And what the Spurs have done really, really well this season is they have a good bench. Their bench unit looks really, really solid. But like I said, the reason that I don't want to see Giannis with Wemby is I truly feel that having Giannis would completely just negate and halt and thwart, there's a good word for you, Wemby's progression. Giannis would be taking a lot of the ball. Giannis would be getting a lot of rebounds. Giannis would just be taking a lot away from Wemby. So personally, I don't think Wemby's offensive game can grow alongside Giannis. Because as much as you want to say, oh, but Giannis could realize that this isn't his team and he could take a step back, that's just not how it's going to work. How often have we seen that happen? And this would definitely be a win now move. However, I just think the Spurs need to stick it out with what they have, continue to develop these younger pieces. You've still got De'Aaron Fox, who you can move at some point. He's a big contract. But if I'm the Spurs, I'm going after a wing. I'm going after a 3-and-D wing like a Herb Jones, like a Trey Murphy, like an Andrew Wiggins, or just someone like that. But thank God the Spurs have said that they are not actually wanting to go after Giannis, which that could be a lie, but I'm going to cross my fingers that that is what their mindset is. Next up, we have the New York Knicks. And again, the reason that I've got the New York Knicks here is because apparently this is where Giannis said that he wanted to go the most. But the thing with the New York Knicks is that they don't actually have that much to give, and the only reason that the Bucks should trade Giannis here is if he specifically walks into that front office and says, trade me to the New York Knicks. This would most likely have to be a 3-team deal because, again, the Knicks don't actually have that much to give. But I don't want to go that in depth because it's too confusing. So the Knicks would have to give up one of the big four, being either Cat or Jalen Brunson or OG or Mikal. And personally, I think it would be OG Anunoby. Obviously, you're not going to trade Jalen Brunson. He's the best player on the team. You're probably not going to trade away Karl Anthony Towns either because, well, he's the second best player. Mikal Bridges has that chemistry with Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. And then OG Anunoby, I just think, is the most expendable. He's got the biggest contract. He is the player that will most likely be moved here. But a package that the Knicks could give the Milwaukee Bucks is OG Anunoby, Josh Hart, multiple picks, maybe a young dude like Tyler Kolek, or I don't actually know because, again, the Knicks don't have a lot of young pieces. This would be, yeah, like I said, a very, very complicated trade to make just between those two teams. So a third team would most likely be involved. But in terms of trade packages that any one of these teams can offer, theirs is definitely the worst. And the final team that I can see Giannis Antetokounmpo being traded for and potentially being involved in that 3-team trade is the Detroit Pistons. Now, Giannis on the Pistons on paper and in theory sounds so fun, and it really, really does. However, let's talk about it. The Pistons do have a lot of young players that they could trade. They've got Jalen Duren, they've got Jaden Ivey, they've got Ron Holland, they've got Asar Thompson, and they've got multiple picks they can use. They've still got Beef Stew over there as well. There's just a lot of talent that they could trade. So what they could do is the Bucks could again trade Giannis and another one of those minimum contract players for Tobias Harris is definitely going to be involved in this contract. You could also throw in Jaden Ivey, one of Ron Holland or Asar Thompson, maybe Beef Stew. If you're the Pistons, you want to keep Jalen Duren because he's having an all-star caliber season, and a couple picks. So this would make the Pistons look like Cade Cunningham, Duncan Robinson, who you want to keep because he's really the only three-point shooter on this whole goddamn team, Asar Thompson, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jalen Duren. Now, if you notice, that starting five does not have a lot of shooting. So that's why Duncan Robinson will need to stay here. Karis LeVert could also be involved in a trade. In the trades, you could potentially keep Isaiah Stewart or something. He has a little bit of shooting off the bench. He's shooting 40% in like 20-something minutes. So that's pretty decent. But the spacing in the front court is just terrible. And like I said, for the Spurs as well, with Wemby, I just feel like having Giannis there would completely just stunt Jalen Duren's progression and growth as a basketball player. And the thing about this trade as well is that all the players that I mentioned for the Pistons are on expiring contracts. So it would be a little bit difficult for the Bucks because if you're trading all these pieces, you kind of have to hope that they stay. But yeah, like I said, this is a fun destination for him. Do I think that the Pistons would make this trade? Probably not. They have been rumored though to like Anthony Davis, and I swear to God, if the Pistons trade for Anthony Davis, it's the dumbest move they could make. Just stick it out, Detroit. Please, just stick it out. Now, some of those other fun teams that he could potentially be traded for, but I didn't really go too in depth with, the Raptors could make a trade for him. This could involve a Brandon Ingram, a Jamal Sheard, just a couple of those young pieces, except again, their young pieces aren't super jumping off the page at you, apart from Scotty Barnes, but I don't think that the Raptors are going to want to trade Scotty Barnes. They do have multiple first-round picks they could offer them as well, but I just don't really like this fit too much, although He would be fun in Toronto. I just don't think he's going to be sent there. The Grizzlies could potentially make a trade for him, but again, if Giannis goes to the West, I don't want to see Giannis in the West. Keep Giannis in the East, please. I would hate to see him in Memphis as well, but again, Memphis has either Ja Morant or Jaren Jackson Jr. They've got a couple picks. They could trade Asanzi Aldama as well. On top of that, there are a few other young pieces there. Jalen Wells, Gigi Jackson, whatever. Gigi Jackson hasn't actually been that great, but I could see him also getting traded to the Grizzlies. I just really hope that he doesn't. And then finally, as much as I hate it, the Oklahoma City Thunder could trade for Giannis as well. They could trade Isaiah Hartenstein, Lou Dort, multiple first-round picks. Someone else would probably go on that, maybe a Case and Wallace. But yeah, OKC is going to be involved in every single trade rumor ever because they have the assets to make that trade. Do I think that they're going to do it? No, because they have also said they are not in the interest of trading for Giannis Antetokounmpo. And then as well, I just remembered one right off the top of my head now. The Houston Rockets could also probably make a trade here. You trade either Amen Thompson or Alperen Sengun along with Jabari Smith, possibly Reed Shepard there as well. You keep Kevin Durant, obviously. You'd probably trade another player like a Josh Okogie or a Tari Eason. But again, I don't really like this fit. But if I'm trading either Amen Thompson or Alperen Sengun, I'm sorry, but it's probably going to be Amen Thompson. I would prefer Sengun to get traded, but realistically, it would probably be Amen Thompson. But yeah, it's really fun to think about these Giannis trades. It's fun to think of where he could potentially go. What do I think is going to happen though, personally? I honestly think that Giannis is going to stay on the Bucks this season. When you sneeze. Phew! And then probably get moved in the offseason. Because if I'm the Bucks as well, I'm keeping him until the offseason because teams will be more desperate in the offseason because they've had the season to see what they're capable of, to see where they're at, so they might make a desperate play. So you could get more for Giannis in the offseason. But that is all from me in this one. Let me know what you guys think about the Giannis trade rumors and if you think he's going to go and if you think he's going to get traded and if so, where. But thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. And as always, I'll see you in the next one.